Alright guys, what's up? I have an over-the-board report for you. I promised to report back on all my over-the-board games. This is like maybe my 8th or 9th over-the-board game. My last two were against the Vienna with the black pieces. And on this occasion, we're playing Darnell and Handsworth D team, I think, and we're Chesterfield C team. I think we won the toss. I was on board 3 again. And the captain, who's on board 1, opted to go with black because he knows I like to play with black. As long as we're not facing the Vienna game. Okay. So my opponent is a young kid. That's all I'm really going to say. I have the black pieces and let's go. And I'm really, really determined. I said to myself, do not rush your bloody opening moves, Hunty, right? Try and apply pressure. Try to be aggressive when it's appropriate to be aggressive. Coordinate your pieces and just double check everything. So E4, E5, obviously, and place your bets. What are the chances? Knight C3, the Vienna game, for the 3rd time running, and I've lost my previous 2 games. So, time for a think. So, I mean, what have I done in the past? In the past, I've tried this Marcellus Wallace with Knight C6 followed by F5, but I know it's kind of inaccurate, and a few of you have been busting my balls, saying, "Look, why don't you just play main line stuff?" So I thought, sod it. Let's play the main line, because I know if my opponent plays pawn to F4, the Vienna gambit, I know how to decline it, right? And with this idea, if I face the Paulson of bringing the knight out to C6, anyway, we don't get that. We get pawn to D3, and I'm already unsure about. I mean, I don't play pawn to D3 when I've played the Vienna. So I'm already like, well, you know, my experience with the white pieces is already out the window. And I don't really know what's going on. Now, obviously, the one key thing is he's blocked in his light squared bishop. However, his light squared bishop could have activity on this queen's diagonal. So I thought, let's just develop. Okay, knight to C6, just try not to make a mistake. He plays knight F3. I bring out my bishop now to C5. So I was definitely toying with B4. Don't know if B4 is a better move. It pins the knight, probably prompts bishop D2. I've seen Naroditsky play this move, but probably not in the exact same position. And now he comes into my position. So, you know, this knight entry to either D5 for white or D4 for black is really, really thematic. This is the whole point with the Vienna, you know, we've got these knights out. So, I'm thinking, I mean, if I take and takes, this knight's going to have to move, which is maybe not the end of the world, it can come around. But he's showing signs of aggression. However, he has just moved the same piece a second time in the opening. And does it come with a real threat? Well, am I concerned about knight takes knight? Well, no, I've got queen takes. Or I've got g takes. Yeah? I need to remember to protect c7. That's it. So mental note, stick a post-it on my face. Don't abandon the c7 pawn. So here I push d6. And this is not the most accurate move, apparently, because I've got the eval going here. It's just slung slightly. It's 0.8 in white's favour. So, you know, we're still very much in the normal range, okay? They're probably not the most accurate move there is. But I remember I was watching the World Championship match between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Carlsen. Was it last year or earlier this year? Can't remember. Anyway, it was hideously boring for the most part. I mean, watching, you know, live classical chess generally is quite dull. I'd much rather watch intermediates slug it out, right? But one thing that I really noticed was when they had the engine running, because they do have the commentators have the engine running as they commentate, that, you know, the number of kind of 1 to 2 pawn swings either way between moves was quite remarkable. I was surprised. I always thought it was always going to be between like you know, 1 pawn and negative 1 pawn, but it's not. You know, there's quite a lot of swinging going on. So yeah, but here I go from negative 0.5 to plus 0.8 here for white. So what should I have played there? Should I have taken the knight, messed up his pawns, and overextended his king's pawn? It's possible. Go on, I'll stick the fish on, and we'll have a okay. So yes, the best move here is knight takes d5. Okay, and then takes, and then bring this knight forwards to d4. Knight takes, bishop takes, and then, you know, where is his? You know, he's lost both of his developed pieces. Okay, so it's just this case of just thinking it through, not just one move, but well, actually, if I take, yes, he's got to take back. Then I've got this, right, and then I've either got a knight shoved, you know, right in his face, or he trades off and he's behind in development. So there you go. Anyway, I play this. He now brings his bishop out. So I'm thinking, hello, we've got a live one here. Yes, my knight's pinned, so my knight can't move, and I've got quite an awkward knight on d5. I do the same. I bring out my bishop now, and again, that's cost me 1 pawn in valuation. Now it says bishop e6 was best here, so I should have just brought my bishop out to here. I guess I could take the knight out, and again the same deal. In fact, well, this guy's pinned. Oh no, he isn't pinned. Not if I put my bishop there, but there you go. And this is all good learning stuff, yeah? This is the point. This is inaccurate, and I was happy to see this. I was happy to. Now I don't know my opponent's rating. I don't know how good he is. He surprised me already on move 3. But h3 to me feels like a concession, you know. Now I can probably drop my bishop back to here or something like that. I could also drop my bishop back to h5, but then where am I going from there? You know, I come here and I'm biting on granite. So I don't know. But h3, I thought, let's drop the bishop back, and maybe this could become a hook later on if we want to attack on the king side. So back we come to e6. Now we have queen e2, so it looks as though opponent is preparing to castle queenside. Okay. And at this point I'm feeling okay. You know, I've got all my minor pieces out on the board and not my queen. White has 3 minor pieces out on the board and queen and 1 very bad bishop. Okay. So at this point, and the engine agrees, the engine says this is all equal. And apparently the best move for me here is, again, to eliminate this knight. So I get that horse out of my face. Okay. Now, I play a mistake, bishop b4. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm thinking, okay, he might take me and I take back. And then I've got a knight on his side of the board and he's lost his good knight. Or he'll push c3. And I felt like c3 would also be a concession. So it's plus 1.5 here. c3 is actually the best move. Knight takes b4 is also a good move. And these are both actually still better for white, interestingly. Third best move there, you got knight e2. So, you know, this is one of those kind of checks, schmecks, really. And this is a mistake from my opponent, bringing the knight all the way back. So he's basically pinned his knight here. Again, the best move here is to take on there. Yeah, but I'm thinking, you know, it's very easy to get stuck, isn't it? In you know, you find one principle, it's like never move the pawns in front of your king. Well, except when it's the right thing to do. Okay, here I've got a dark squared pawn chain, so I'm thinking, oh, my light squared bishop is important. My black squared bishop is expendable, so I don't want to trade this off. Well, what if it's the right thing to do? You know, and this is the engine saying, Hunty, get that knight away. So here I throw my knight now into d4. Now hitting his queen, and also hitting c2 with the threat of the king rook fork, right? Very thematic move. I know this move. He brings his queen back to d1. And now again, I've got 4 pieces out on the board. He's got 3, and it's suddenly, now it feels like he's having to, he's being pushed backwards in the scrum, put it that way. Again, the best move for black is, you've guessed it, bishop takes d5. I don't do it. I drop my bishop back now, and this is also a mistake, okay? The machine says I should have taken on d2. Okay, so there you go. Should have taken on d2. So the engine's saying that my bishops are inferior and I should be trading them off. But what you have to do is you have to play it through and then look at the position, yeah? And think about, well, even progressing all the way through to an ending, how's our pawn structure? So our pawn structure is actually almost symmetrical here. The only difference is he's pushed the h-pawn. So, I don't know. Anyway, now he plays, no, this is okay. This is okay. c3 is okay. But I'm quite happy to see this, right? I'm feeling like he's opening up this side of the board as well. This is not bad. I retreat my knight to c6, and it's plus 1.8 in white's favour. This is still normal range. Okay, now he comes in wanting a piece of my bishop, okay? So I decide I'm going to drop my bishop back to b6, because if he takes with either knight, I know I can recapture with my a pawn, thereby opening up the a file, okay? Which is what I do, and that's indeed what he does. Costs him 1 whole point. I recapture there, and now I'm thinking, okay, so it looks like if we're castling short, that's fine. But I still need to be very careful about this, because he's still got 2 attackers on here. And here, I would imagine that it would make sense for my opponent to capture here. Because I've opened up the A file, right? Taking this knight would force me to recapture with a g-pawn, because the queen can't be the first recapturer. So I think you should probably do that. And in fact, the machine says bishop takes f6. Again, all this bishop hating by Stockfish. This is really interesting. Second best move for him, queen f3. Piling on more pressure onto here, okay? Let's see what he plays. He plays the inaccurate queen b3. Okay, now, this is a good point to kind of stop and take stock, I think. What do we notice about queen b3? Well, to me, it's not really coming with any threats. He's not taking this pawn. He's definitely not going on the a file, right? What's he looking at? Well, he's looking at a bishop here. Now, is that a threat, or is that a liability against white? Because he's basically pinned his own knight. It's self-pinning. Not the best idea. So what would you play? Pause if you wish, and have a think what you would play. Okay, we have a knight that is now pinned. Okay, it's defended twice, right? It's attacked once, but not really, because this piece is pinned. So let's discount that one. It's attacked once. So it's attacked once and defended twice. Now, can you find one move here that turns that around, that situation around? Okay, I'll repeat the facts. Defended by pawn, then queen. Attacked only by bishop. This piece could be an attacker, but isn't, because it's pinned. And in one move, we can flip the advantage. Okay, so I'll show you the move I play. The computer doesn't think it's the best move. It again says take the stupid knight. Okay, it says knight b8 is the second best move. Then it says h6 and kick the bishop. Okay, then it says castle. Or king f8 and castle. Right, so it doesn't approve of this move, but it's not playing a human. Okay, so knight to here. Now what have I done? Okay, 1, 2, 3 attackers now, kinda, right? Although I can't attack with both. I can't capture with both of these, because that would be that would expose my queen. However, his knight is still pinned. Okay, so let's say I was to take, he takes, I take, attack queen. We might have a trade-off, but then also my bishop would be undefended on that square. So it's not overwhelming at this point. And now my opponent blunders. Queen b5 check. Right, he's thinking, it's a check. Can't be anything wrong with the check. Well, it depends. Depends what you open yourself up to. Now, okay, now I do have 2 attackers and 2 defenders, but takes, pawn takes, doesn't really work. I can't take back because I lose a piece for a pawn. However, I'm now calculating c6. So I'm looking at c6. It's a pawn fork. He's just walked into a pawn fork with the pieces, with 1 square between them, horizontally. It does hang this pawn, undefends this pawn, but if he takes there, my queen's defending. So I pretty quickly play c6. He captures the pawn. I take the knight, and he trades off queens. Probably not the best idea. No, he is. Apparently, according to the machine, you might as well, clear the queens off the board. Okay. Here he had the option of taking a pawn. So I'm not sure about this move, because now I take, he recaptures, now I've won a pawn. Okay. So now where are we at? I have 1 bishop and 2 knights. He has the bishop pair, and pawns are equal. Okay, he castles long. I grab on a2 because he can't, he can't trap me there. He gives check. Knight c6, blocking the check. Right, if he wants to trade off, happy days. He retreats now. I pivot my knight round, now attacking his bishop. And the remaining moves, I actually wrote down. I wrote down clinical, right, on my piece of paper as a reminder to myself to maximize my evil. Let's get my evil on. Okay? He brings the bishop back down here again to have a look at the knight. I castle. I figure I might need both rooks in the game here. Rook to here. Now I attack this rook. I know he can't go here or there because of bishop, pawn, knight. So he's only got 1 square. And now I'm looking at this square. I really want to get my knight on there and fork the king and rook. So I just simply drop my bishop back. He pushes forward, right? He should have, according to the machine, take the knight, but it's -5 now. He's in a losing position. I take the rook. He takes the bishop. I save the knight, grab a pawn on my way out. He attacks the knight, and I just trade off the other bishop. And this is the final move of the game. He walks into this. It's now -14. White is just dead lost at this point in time. It's a full rook down and a pawn, and that's it. So my opponent's rating was, I just looked it up, in the 1300s, something like 1350-ish ECF, which is equivalent to ELO. And so, yeah, a couple of 100 points lower rated than me, but I was pleased with this game. And then if I show you here, I scroll down, this is the pattern of the game. So, he got to plus 1.5 was the biggest advantage he had. And then, obviously, that's our big blunder. And then I turned the screw and finished off. In terms of the summary, he's got only 2 inaccuracies, 2 mistakes, 1 blunder. I mean, that's quite normal. 81% for white. I got 90% accuracy, so I'm very pleased with that one. 3 mistakes, no blunders. So I will take that all day long. This is a game that I can revisit because, some of these mistakes, I've got 3 mistakes here. No real need, right? I get a slight advantage after move 5, and then I give it away, right? So if he hadn't blundered, the first half of the game was tight. And there's definitely lessons to be found in all of that. So there you go. That's my report. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you soon.